I'm not an electric fan, but what Audi has given us is something that has to be shown here on Supercar Throttle. Near $180,000, 912 horsepower at peak boost once you're going over 19 miles per hour, and you're going to have about 10 seconds to do so with 875 pound-feet of torque. We're showcasing the 2025 Audi RS E-tron GT in Nimbus Gray Pearl. This has the RS design package. This has the forged carbon package, which we're going to go over all these details and specs on the exterior, the interior, and we're going to take this for a drive. I'm Anthony from Supercar Throttle. In the front, with the Audi single frame grille, it has the texture that's going to be underneath the Audi O-rings that all illuminates. Matrix LED headlights at daytime runnings with Audi laser. So it's some of the best lighting in the business. That forged carbon fiber is going to be on the lower splitter. Everything's opened up on the lower bit, front parking sensors, and a 360-degree reverse camera, because why not? You still need safety even though you're going 0 to 60 at 2.4 seconds. Top speed is limited to 155 miles per hour, which I'm all right with that. But then with the price, I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit because I want to go more like 190, which is typically what you would get in something like an RS7 Performance. The RS models have unique front and rear fascia, new wheel designs, new B-pillar naming, and 4 new exterior colors. Chassis upgrades that's specifically developed for the RS Performance models, and when launch control is activated, up to 1100 amps can be engaged. And the push-to-pass function for the RS E-tron GT Performance, that will increase 94 horsepower, taking me to a con with the RS E-tron GT. It's really about 845 horsepower. The 912 horsepower is only engaged at boost at speeds at 19 miles per hour or higher for about 10 seconds. Now that forged carbon in the front and these upgraded 22-inch wheels with the forged carbon side view mirror, the lower skirt, and that roof that's blacked out, that's all part of the forged carbon package. The red brake calipers, that's housing 6 pistons in the front, 4 pistons in the rear. The red brake caliper itself, that's also an upgrade. So this is going to start throwing in some cons because I'm already at near $180,000. At least give me some of those bits, because we're not getting the carbon ceramic brakes standard, which would give you 10 pistons in the front, and it would increase the disc by 0.4 inches, where this is at 15.1 inch in the front. All-wheel steering, they've also tweaked that this year, so it's going to be a little bit more precise. So there's no need to talk about a 50-50 weight distribution because this RC vehicle can do it. The way the air channels through the vehicle, from the front, coming through the quarter panel, bulging out through the rear, and because we also have an active trunk lid spoiler in the lower diffuser, the way it's cut off, channel the air better for some of the best aerodynamics. That's why you're getting such a quick 0 to 60. The battery has been updated with more power. The E-tron GT battery pack has been upgraded to 105 kilowatt. That's 12% over the previous 93.4 kilowatt. The weight has decreased by 25 pounds. DC fast charging capabilities has also increased with the 270 kilowatt to 320 kilowatt, resulting in a 10 to 80% charging time of about 18 minutes. Previously, that was at 21.5 minutes. Enhanced regenerative braking. Unfortunately, the range decreases to 278. There is an S trim, which is the base trim, and that'll get 300-mile range, and you're still getting a 0 to 60 in the 3-second margin. But this is freaking fast. Not quite as fast as Lucid and Tesla, but when you're going to a company that typically makes performance vehicles that are gas variants or ICE, I like what I'm getting. And because this does slot right underneath 180 grand, which I understand they are kind of nickel and diming you with some of the features, but I do appreciate what I'm getting, because I would have to go to a Porsche Turbo GT, which is about 220 grand, to get something similar to this with a 0 to 60 that's only going to be 0.2 seconds faster, but then the top speed unlocks 180 miles per hour. So now when I was saying I was scratching my head, that's why they do it, realistically speaking, is because they want you to go into the Porsche line. They don't want you to be stuck into the Audi line, even though this vehicle is exceptional. LED taillights that wrap around the whole rear. That forged carbon is going to come around the diffuser, reverse parking sensors, and you already know about the spoiler. Is it worth the price? Considering what you're getting, it is. When you tack on that forged carbon package, it's going to add about $8,000 to $9,000 to pricing, and when you add the brakes, if you do get the carbon ceramic brakes, you're talking another $10,000. So just be careful with the features that you option with this. And then by far, this is one of the best Audis ever to come out because it's one of the most performance Audis that has ever came into existence. Dynamics and RS performance. Hit boost. Let's go. Oof. It launches like a rocket. Damn, this thing is powerful. Very precise. Maneuverability, it's tight. I feel some of the actual pavement too, so I appreciate that because you get some feedback in the steering wheel. And you're gonna feel some of the ride because this has an RS tuned suspension. I'm not usually a fan of EV vehicles. A lot of people know that from Hawkeye rides. But when it comes to something this unique with this much power, I mean 912 horsepower, that's what we just unlocked. That is crazy. Braking, regenerative braking has been increased. Turn radius, we have rear axle steering that has also helped and got reworked, about 3 lanes. Let's rock and roll. I mean, it's so fast, like you're at speeds way beyond what you would measure. I mean, 2.4 seconds, that could be generous on a 0 to 60. The top speed, though, limiting to around 150 miles per hour is definitely a con to me because I don't want to go Porsche. I want the Audi. I'm getting the same warranty. I'm getting so much performance, even though the Porsche is going to be more performance in horsepower and torque. It's only 0.2 of a second faster. Why the hell do they do that with these vehicles when there's such a gem compared to competition that's around its price? Now, obviously, Lucid and Tesla is going to be more superior with charging time, with range, quicker 0 to 60s, and it's also going to just be a lot more horsepower and torque. But you don't expect Audi to go to this level. That's what makes this the sweet spot vehicle, because when I see it with the Germans, Audi, BMW, or Mercedes going crazy with horsepower, and 875 pound-feet of torque is enough. Now, a con, though, is you're not really capturing the full 912 horsepower because it actually knocks it down quite a bit. You're only going to get that for about 10 seconds when you have the boost engaged. But realistically speaking, you're going to still be under 3 seconds 0 to 60 any way you cut it. Is it an everyday driving vehicle? It is. If you got $180,000 to throw away and you want to go on a nice vacation because you didn't want to option the Porsche, you can do that. Or you know what, put a down payment on a little condo here in Florida. Not going to get much out of $40,000. The safety features is good though, because if you do run on the line, I actually just did that purposely, it will push you back in, which will use the inner brake pressure to push you inwards. I like that feature. I have it in my Infiniti. It works relatively well, and they do the same thing here. You also have the frontal collision and the rear collision also. So when you're tacking on the safety features, this is by far a track vehicle. I mean, it's literally everything you would want for an electric vehicle. And you can just weave in and out of lanes without any type of problems because it doesn't feel that wide nor that long. The pedal can feel heavy at times. Now, when you put it into comfort, you're going to be driving more or less at about a 10 to 20%. So you can see how you're recouping a lot of those MPGs or MPGEs overall, because with the braking that they've already fixed for the regenerative brake, the quicker charging times, you're getting about 18 minutes on a DC charge. And then charging it at home, that's kind of a con, about 15.5 hours to get a full charge on a level 2. Now, I get it. That's something that does take a lot longer than the majority of the competition. But then when you're looking at a track-driven vehicle and you still have somewhat range, I'm guesstimating you would have between 180 to 200 miles range on a daily use if you live in the state of Florida, because the temperatures have become about 100 to 112 pretty much every day lately. Unfortunately, there's just a little bit of traffic here, not much to do for maneuverability purposes. And that's kind of the big problem when you go into such performance variants. As you know, I have a couple of Maseratis. I tend to love to do performance, and you end up being behind these Nissan Altimas, in which, just push it a little bit. Hopefully this guy doesn't keep braking. Maybe we could get in front of him. And we can. Look at that. It's a fun, playful vehicle. It still has room in the back seat. It would be nicer if it was a hatch instead of a sedan, because you would get a ton more storage space. But this is what the vehicle's for. Oh, God. Raw power. It's definitely a pleasure to drive this particular vehicle. I would definitely recommend a test drive to it if you are considering a EV, which has a ton of space in the interior. You have pretty decent cargo capacity. The range isn't that bad, and the damn thing is in the very low 2 seconds, if not faster. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out this next video right here.